Joseph woke up to a terrible smell. He tried to stand. He fell. He lay there, unable to move, while the air in the room turned against him. This was not a bomb or a chemical weapon. It was a lake. And because of that lake, over 1,700 people would perish, just like Joseph. Even insects were not going to survive. The lake is called Nyos. It sits in Cameroon, West Africa, in a crater on a volcano that has not erupted in centuries. The crater formed about 400 years ago. It is a maar. A maar forms when rising magma meets underground water. The contact causes a steam explosion. It blasts a wide bowl into the earth. The explosion threw out loose, porous rock. That rock now forms part of the rim. Below the lake bed, a vertical pipe of broken rock reaches down toward the mantle. This pipe is called a diatreme. It acts as a chimney. 80 kilometers below the surface, molten rock releases gas. That gas is mostly carbon dioxide. It rises through cracks. It dissolves into groundwater. The groundwater seeps into the lake. It carries the gas down to the cold, dark floor. Century after century, the gas builds. The weight of the water above keeps it trapped. It is like a sealed bottle of soda. The bottle was almost full. At full saturation, the lake could hold over 1 million tons of dissolved carbon dioxide. The water itself is arranged in layers. The top layer is warm. The bottom layer is cold. They never mix. The bottom water holds the gas under extreme pressure. At 208 meters depth, the pressure is over 20 times the air pressure at sea level. Under that crushing weight, the lake can hold vast amounts of dissolved gas. The deep water becomes a weak acid. The system looks stable. It is not. In August 1984, a smaller lake nearby gave a warning. Lake Manoon sits about 100 kilometers southeast. One evening, it released a cloud of gas. 37 people died. Witnesses heard sounds like explosions. They smelled sulfur. Scientists arrived from several countries. They took water samples. They tested the air. They did not fully understand what had happened. The lake had turned over. Deep water rose. Gas escaped. But the event was small. The death toll was low. The world moved on. Monoun was treated as a local tragedy, a strange accident. Scientists from Cameroon, the United States, and France debated whether volcanic gases or some other cause was responsible. They lacked long-term data. They lacked monitoring equipment. The warning was missed. The bottle at Nyos kept filling. On the evening of Thursday, August 21st, 1986, the balance broke. No one knows the exact trigger. A landslide may have fallen into the deep water, or the gas may have simply reached its limit. Deep water began to rise. As it rose, the pressure dropped. That drop was critical. Under high pressure, the lake can hold gas in solution. Under lower pressure, the gas wants out. Bubbles formed. Bubbles are buoyant. They pull water upward. That rising water faces even less pressure. More bubbles form. The process feeds on itself. In minutes, the lake's surface became a fountain. Water and gas shot upward more than 100 meters. The blast was so violent that it created a wave. The wave hit the shore. It was 25 meters high. The water stripped soil and plants from the rocks. Trees near the edge vanished. The lake level dropped by nearly a meter. The blue water turned rust red. Iron from the deep bottom had mixed upward. That deep iron had never seen oxygen. Now it met the air. It oxidized. The lake had bled. The force of the blast stripped bark from trees along the shore. Boulders rolled into the water. Missionary pilots who flew over the area the next morning saw a lake they did not recognize. It was lower. It was darker. A ring of destruction marked the waterline. The gas that left the water did not float away. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air. It is also invisible. The clouds spilled over the northern rim of the crater. As it expanded, it cooled. The cooling made water vapor in the humid night air condense. A thick white mist formed. That mist marked the path of the killer. The mist smelled of nothing. The cloud flowed down into the valleys. It followed the land like a river. It was nearly 50 meters tall. It moved at close to 100 kilometers per hour. It filled homes. It pulled in low spots. It pushed all normal air aside. Any animal that breathed this mixture was breathing nearly pure gas. There was no oxygen left. The cloud traveled up to 25 kilometers from the lake. Everything in its path stopped living. Ephraim Che lived on a cliff above the lake. Around 9 at night, he heard a rumble. He saw a white mist climbing from the water. He thought a storm was coming. He went to bed. He felt sick. The next morning, he walked down to Lower Nyos. He found silence. The insects were dead. The birds were dead. So were his family members. So were nearly all 1,000 people in the village. The lake was dull red. The small stream that usually flowed from it had run dry. Halima Souley was near the shore. She heard a noise like many people shouting. Then a great wind tore through her compound. She lost consciousness. She woke hours later. Around her lay 31 dead relatives. Her 400 cattle were dead. She was surrounded by corpses in a land that looked untouched. The houses stood, the trees stood. Only the animals and people were gone. In total, the lake killed an estimated 1,746 people. It killed over 3,500 head of livestock. Early investigators saw strange skin lesions on survivors. About 19% of those treated had red skin and blisters. Some survivors described a warm sensation. Victims had collapsed instantly. They lay on hard ground for hours, unconscious. The weight of their own bodies against the ground cut off blood flow. The blisters were pressure sores. Vegetation was fine. The disaster struck at night. Most plants closed their pores after dark. They did not breathe the gas. The animal kingdom had no such protection. Survival was arbitrary. It depended on height. The gas hugged the ground. People on upper floors lived. All the women and newborns in the second story of the Subum maternity clinic survived. Everyone on the ground floor died. Those who jumped on motorcycles and rode uphill immediately lived. The military buried the dead in mass graves. They moved thousands of survivors into camps. The people were farmers and cattle herders. In the camps, they lost their farms. They lost their herds. A generation grew up in poverty, cut off from their homes and from the graves of their ancestors. Children born in the camps inherited a trauma they never experienced directly. Elders died in exile, far from the burial grounds of their parents. But the lake was still dangerous. After the eruption, the deep water still held gas. Magma was still feeding the lake. Every year, more carbon dioxide entered the bottom. By 2001, the deep water was back to 97% of its old saturation level. The bomb was rearming itself. Scientists from around the world gathered. They faced a problem never solved before. If they pumped too aggressively, they could trigger the very eruption they hoped to prevent. If they moved too slowly, the lake would saturate again. They needed a method that was gentle, continuous, and self-regulating. They had to remove hundreds of thousands of tons of dissolved gas from a lake without setting it off. The solution was a pipe. In 1995, a team from France and Switzerland lowered a pipe into Lake Nyos. The method is called the organ pipe. The pipe was 200 meters long. It reached the deep water full of gas. A pump started the flow. It lifted a column of water toward the surface. As the water rose, pressure dropped. Gas bubbles formed inside the pipe. Those bubbles made the water inside the pipe much lighter than the heavy lake water outside. The difference in weight created a strong upward pull. The bubbles drove the water up continuously. At the surface, a fountain of water and gas shot into the air. The carbon dioxide harmlessly dispersed. The degassed water, now cooler, sank back down to a depth where it would not disturb the layers. No pumps were needed after the start. The process ran on its own. The beauty of the system was its passivity. No electrical grid was required. No diesel generators hummed on the raft. The lake itself provided the energy. The first permanent pipe went in 2001. It worked, but one pipe was not enough. The gas kept coming. In 2011, 2 more pipes were added. They had intakes at different depths. The 3 pipes worked together. They scrubbed the deep water. Scientists used sound speed measurements and other tests to track the gas. By 2020, measurements showed that the gas content had dropped to safe levels. The lake was declared safe from a spontaneous eruption. Today, a single pipe runs continuously. It is tuned to match the exact rate of new gas entering from below. The lake is in balance. The weapon is disarmed.